religion or spirituality. Some things that are just in our vocabulary, and we all have mapped it to certain triggers in our bodies, and we just kind of like say it. And religion, spirituality, or dare I say Godwood, is something like that. If I went around and just gave you all a piece of paper and asked you to write down in less than, I don't know, 100 characters, not words, but in characters, what God means, what do you think everyone's going to come with the same or a different answer? Completely different answers, right? Because we just say it. We fight over it. But we don't know what it is. And we don't know what to do with it. Bottom line is our life and its activities don't change. So this question of religion or spirituality is a very important question, because it's fundamentally related to who we are. What are we doing here? And why am I suffering? Instead of how to ease my suffering, the question is, why am I suffering? It's very important. These are all connected. And it takes a deeply philosophical mind to think about. In this world, reasons, there are different motivations. That's another word, motivations. Everyone's got different motivations. And based on your motivation, you will go a certain distance. In the Vedic texts, these motivations are put under 4 broad categories: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They call purusharthas. 4 goals. Nowadays, and I'll explain each one of them differently. And it's important for you to understand, because then you can see like what's motivating you. All of our different motivations fall within these categories. And nowadays what's happening is dharma and moksha is out of the equation. Mostly the focus is on kama and artha. So artha means wealth. Wealth or money or supplies or resources, whatever you want to call it, means to get what you want. Artha. Yeah. So one of the motivations and goal is life is, I want enough for myself, my family, my friends, my da. So artha. So you make plans for it. You see that? How quite a bit of your life is going towards that direction. And the next one is kama. Kama means desire, lust. I want a person, I want a thing, lust. It drives us, right? We want some passion in our life. Maybe it's with a person, maybe it's with a thing or whatever, but we want some passion in our life. So kama. So if you examine our lives these days between kama and artha, lust and desire for, between lust and desire for some money, quite a bit of our life is spent. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. Outside of it, there's hardly any time left, isn't it? Yeah. The other 2 motivations, dharma and moksha. Let's talk about moksha first. Moksha means liberation, freedom. In some extent, we fight for free me from this. I'm proud of this. I take pride in this, that, or the other. So we're like wanting to be free. But unfortunately, our activities of freedom just bind us more deeply because we have no idea how to become free. So moksha means liberation. Like, Buddhist texts will teach nirvana, getting out of the shape bonded. Nira means out and vana means forest. So get out of the forest of material existence. Freedom from that, liberation. Liberation means you're not banging your head with the wall anymore, but you don't know what to do with your head yet. So liberation means moksha, means freedom from the suffering. So it's like the beginning of your material life has ended, but your spiritual life hasn't started. So moksha. This is the last part of the, is dharma. Like some people want to do something religious. I'll go to a church, I'll go to a temple, I'll go to a mosque. I want to be seen as pious and a good person. I'll build something. I'll build a hospital. I'll contribute. I'll donate, right? Like Giving Tuesdays, people do that. Like they give a donation, something, right? So it's a motivation. So you see, these 4 motivations are generally what people who are well-intended will put their energy to. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are 4 purusharthas. These are 4 motivations. This is in your heart. There's 20 people listening to this class. 20 people will react completely differently based on the mirrors they have on their own heart, the motivations they have. Pancham Purushartha, the fifth Purushartha, the actual goal of life is love of God. Prema Pumartho Muhan. Prema, love. Prema Pumartho Muhan. Learn to love that personality who's beyond the range of your senses. In this world, we only learn the scratching kind of love, the itch sensation, the one that you feel when you touch. We don't learn anything beyond that. The yogis abstain from the touch because they know there is something better than that. And they're aiming for that Pancham Purushartha, love of God. So it does not matter what the label you put on, whether you want to be a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim or a this or a that. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. But what do you need to look for as a human being? And I think we will agree on that. We want to find that process that helps us develop love of the Supreme, isn't it? Srimad Bhagavatam says, Savai Pumso Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Adhokshaje Ahetuki Apratiharta Yayatma Suprasidate. So he says, Savai Pumso Paro Dharma. Paro Dharma. Dharma means, I already explained, your duty, your inherent nature. Dharma doesn't mean religion. Popularly, people think it's the same thing, but no, it doesn't. Religion or faith can change. Today I am Hindu, tomorrow I am Christian, then I'm Muslim, then I'm something else. Like, people change faith. Right? Today I love you, tomorrow I love you, tomorrow I love somebody else. It's kind of like faith changing. So faith can change. But dharma means the inherent nature of something. Like, salt is salty. If you have white powder, that is not salty, it's not salt. It's something else, but it's not salt. Same with sugar. If you have something white crystal, but it's not sweet, it's not sugar. Inherent nature of something. So dharma means your inherent nature, which cannot change. Meaning, whichever country you go to, whichever race you're born in, whichever color you are, it is the same for everybody. That is dharma. It cannot change. Like, the idea of conversion doesn't apply to dharma. By definition, if something can be converted, it's not dharma. We want to find that thing about ourselves. Now, in the Bhagavatam, the saintly people are saying that is the best dharma. Because you'll say, people often ask me this question, why are there so many religions there? Is it like different gods? And God's not different. Our understanding is limited, so we see different pieces of information. So we want that parodharma, yato bhakti adhokshaja. Adhokshaja is a very powerful word. Akshaja means that is relatable through the senses. I can feel the weight, I can feel the coldness, I can feel everything. Akshaja. Adhokshaja means that who is, I don't know if you've had the experience of something beyond the range of your senses. I know, I can tell you one example when I think about it, is when I was a little girl, we used to go camping, like trekking, not camping, but trekking. And in the mountains up in the Himalayas, we used to go there. And there used to be a tunnel. It was a very old abandoned tunnel from the time of the British Empire. It's a haunted old tunnel, very old. Anyways, we just, bunch of us with our school, we'd go, and it was completely dark in the tunnel. You could not see even your own hand. It was very dark. It was like maybe a kilometer, like a very long tunnel, but no lighting. An abandoned old. We had to cross it. It was a treacherous mountain path. That was the only way to go through. So on one side of the tunnel, our teacher would put one mirror, and on the other end of the tunnel was another mirror. And they try to reflect some sunlight through it. So what happened would be that you would go a few steps and you'd be able to see. But then after a while, you can't see because it's just so far the light will go. It's a very long tunnel. So when you enter a region where it's completely dark, you see nothing. But you know who can see there? And I have first-hand experience with bats. They know exactly where you are, and they know how to land on you or touch you. Is that true? How do these guys see where I am? I can't see it. As a little child, I couldn't understand that. But even in this world, you will see creatures whose senses are more powerful than you, which should make you see that, oh, there are things that exist that is beyond the range of our senses. I really want you to deeply contemplate this point. Like a dog can sniff what you can't. Isn't it true? So, what does that mean? It means there are things in this world that you can't experience, but they exist. We limit ourselves when we depend only on our perception, sense perception, to perceive the reality. Even the material reality is not completely perceivable to us with our sense perception. So, except for pride, there is nothing else that makes us think that the Supreme Personality, who's beyond the range of our senses. Now, think about it. If there is creatures that exist, or there are persons that exist that have sensory powers that we don't, that means they're getting it from somewhere. Then obviously the source has that, right? Because by definition, it makes no sense to call someone the source or God or whatever you want to call if they don't have everything emanating from them. So all those things in this world that we can't experience must be emanating from the source. That means the source is beyond the range of our senses. It's not so hard to accept it, but pride keeps us from doing it. And now we have to learn to love this person who's beyond the range of our senses. We have this idea that love should spontaneously happen. And it's a very interesting idea propagated by Hollywood or whatever you want to call it. But in real life, it doesn't. What are the statistics about marriages? What are the statistics about relationships? But we have this deep-rooted idea that spontaneous love will happen. I'll feel some magic, something will happen. Love's got to be spontaneous. But in real life, there is no experience of that. Outside of TV and programs, there's no experience of that being lasting. It may be momentary, but it's not lasting. That idea that we have, that you see, it's not just an idea, it's a consciousness we develop. A consciousness is a bit more subtle. That consciousness we carry everywhere. So if there's religion, if there's spirituality, it should happen spontaneously and just naturally, and I shouldn't have to do anything. You see how the software is corrupt? Have you ever had corrupt software in your system? So our mind's like the software, our body is like the hardware, right? So when the mind's corrupted by our lifestyle, we have these ideas that are coming up. They're not reality. And we're just carrying on. We have this deep-rooted, corrupted idea that love should happen spontaneously. Nobody's finding this spontaneous, everlasting love. Maybe people find it for a little bit. But, and this idea that there should be no rules and regulations. Everything should be free love. But how long does that last for anybody? It doesn't last. So, but we've carried this idea. There should be no rules and there should be spontaneity. And we take that idea with our limited senses. Now you see what's going on? We have limited senses, which we proudly cannot accept because we're the peak of civilization, right? So we cannot accept it and we have these corrupted ideas. So the hardware is corrupted because of the limitations that we are born with, right? Corrupted hardware, corrupted software. And we are trying to perceive the infallible, perceive the one who is beyond the range of our senses. So it's very difficult. So we need dharma, not a religion, not a label. We need a process. What's the process? That helps us invoke our love for the Supreme. Savai pumso paro dharma yato bhakti adhokshate. So ahetuki, there's no reason, there's no motivation, secondary motivation. And apratiharta means uninterrupted love. Sometimes people, now you're going to try and love someone, right? Then you need to know something about them. What's our idea of God? What are some representations of the Supreme? Like, what's our idea of God? If you want to love someone, right, you got to know something about it. You could try, but there's not enough in there that your heart needs. You need more information for love. You need information of Rupa and Guna. Rupa means form, Guna means qualities. Without the knowledge of form and qualities, it's hard to love someone. Prabhupada explains this, the author of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Bhagavan, the root word is Bhaga, and the verse is Ashvarasya Samagrasya, Viryasya Vyashashriya, Jnana Vairagyam Astikyam. So Ashvarasya Samagrasya. Ashwarya means opulences, but not small opulences like, I own a car, or I own 10 cars or 20 cars, not small opulences. Like Samagrasya means complete opulence. Samagrasya means complete opulences. What kind of opulences? What kind of opulences? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The one who is the Ishvara means the Lord. A king might be an Ishvara of a small country or something. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The lokas means planetary systems. Who's the master of all the planetary systems? That kind of opulence is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. It's explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is a proprietor of all the planetary systems. Everything emanates from the Supreme Lord. Actually, not even a blade of grass moves without the desire of the Lord. Back to Ashvarasya Samagrasya. This is one quality of the Supreme Bhaga. I said opulences, right? Supremely opulent one, the master of everything. Viryasya. Viryasya means the most powerful. You like powerful people. You like strong people, especially when they're on your side, right? Courage is something people appreciate, isn't it? So Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasya. Yasha. Yasha means fame. So everyone wants fame. But look at Krishna's fame. It's so amazing. Huh? Even the atheists can't stop talking about the Supreme Lord. You just can't. There's like activities. You just keep talking about Krishna's activities. Keep talking about activities. Even in saying, no, he did not do anything. Or calling him different names. Some people might call him different names for all these centuries, all this time. All these ages, so many kingdoms have come and gone. But nobody can stop talking about God. Even if you go to a remote tribe where there's no so-called modern education, even there's advanced techniques of worship. They're worshipping something, someone. They're doing it. That means everyone's talking about the Supreme. Everyone knows that the Supreme exists. They may not have knowledge. He's so famous. You know anybody, an influencer like that? You don't. These are opulences. Jnana Vairagya. Jnana means knowledge, the one who's the source of all knowledge. Vairagya means renunciation, complete renunciation. Renunciation is so beautiful, and it's like an ornament you can wear. Like, when I think of renunciation, I often think of Mother Teresa. She's so beautiful for what she did. Such an amazing, just giving her whole life to serving people in a different country, in a place where you don't speak the same language, where you're not supported, you're never sent, even you goes on her own because she has a calling, and she gives her entire life and makes such an impact. Renunciation, tyaga, it's an opulence. So these opulences, bhaga, they call it 6 opulences, bhaga. The one who is the source of all of this. In this country, you will find many rich people. But you won't find anybody who has all of these opulences. If you're rich, you are attached, right? So you won't find all of these opulences in one person. And even if you do find them, they're not infinite. They're limited opulence. You won't find someone who owns multiple planets. So when you talk about God or the Supreme Person, you're looking for qualities. Try not to look for labels. People often say, what if I'm a Christian? What if I'm a Hindu? What if I'm a this? What if I'm a that? That's just a label for a faith. You need to really question what your idea of the Supreme is. Our idea of the Supreme very fundamentally is, he's a lone guy who watches over everybody. And is perhaps pretty old because he existed for a long time. It's not so fun. So there is no room for so much attraction. There is room for fear. There's room for obeying. There is room for following, maybe. But love, spontaneity, excitement requires some other kind of impetus. Sainthood is not for a photo frame. A real saint, a real teacher, will show you the way you can also become like that. And a real student will try to follow the teacher. not just put them in a photo frame. Try not to look for label to fit into. That I want to be a Hindu, I want to be a Christian, I want to be a this, that. Try to develop love of God. And in order to develop love of God, the most important and the first step is to purify our existence, which means purify our lifestyle. We need some process of purifying our lifestyle. Doing the same activities every day, you're not going to purify your lifestyle. And it's very hard to give up what you're doing every day. So you need some way that is something more attractive than what you're doing. Like something so superb that you're like, wow, I gotta do this. And the chanting of the Maha Mantra that I do on the beats every day, or the study of the Bhagavad Gita, this is devotional practice. These are thousands and millions of years old practice. And by chanting the names, you revive your original consciousness. You're practicing this thing. We need a process like that will clean our consciousness up. Just really give yourself a chance, genuine chance. And a genuine chance comes from reading this wisdom. It's not, don't listen to me, listen to the Bhagavad Gita. If you read it from cover to cover, you yourself will get the knowledge and ability to see the things in the right perspective. If you're religious, people can handle it. Like, oh, okay, you're religious. All right, you go to church, you go to a temple, you go to a mosque, you go to something, you do something like you're a religious, good person. But the moment you start meddling with the desire to enjoy, that people cannot tolerate. The moment you start saying, I'm purifying my heart, I'm purifying my desires, so that my mentality changes from that of enjoying this world to serving the Lord. Now you're starting to really mess with people's ideas of reality. Because even with religion, we try to approach it with, if I go and pray, then I will get to live a better life as a blessing from the Lord. But the real blessing of the Lord is that He takes away attachment for this world. Why stay in a place of suffering? Now